So, it's January 2025. My sugar grass is growing like crazy. I've already got tomatoes running. My Szechuan pepper is coming into bloom. I've still got lemons on the lemon tree. This is recovering. Every winter I get a bad aphid infestation because of the temperature variance from in and out, but it's coming back in. Let's see, I've got to harvest tomatoes. My kiwi is doing well. That is my ginger. My aloe vera is starting to make new babies. I need that pepper down there so that it seeds. I'm losing one jalapeno plant. This is 3 years now. So I'm losing one out of 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've only lost basically one jalapeno plant in 3 years. So we're doing good on that. This is the main thing. I've still got everything's running well in here. This particular type is working really well. I tried frog grass, I tried duckweed, but this particular species, I'll have to look it back up again. It comes with a little pouch that it maintains the microbes to help it deal with the NO2 and NH3 reactions. And this thing it really works really well. I would highly suggest it. My current problem today is these are 3 years old. And the majority of them are starting to sink. They've just reached their, they sit in the water 24/7 for almost 3 years now. The springs have rusted out. Water's getting inside of them and they're sinking. And what I use these for is this weighs down my fork. My fork is what I put my vegetables on. This way especially like my zucchini, my squash, and so on has a tendency to float. So by putting it on here with the rock, it sits it on the bottom so the crayfish, the plecos, everything can get to it easily. And then this swims on top of the water, so I don't have to go reaching into the water. I can just grab this and take it out. And this one right here is full of water. So I've gotten some new ones. We're going to be replacing these. These again should last another 2 or 3 years. Maybe even longer because they're sealed much better. And other than that, everything's running fine. Changes that I am making is I'm buying backup pumps this year. These have been running for 3 years. And I just want to make sure I've got a backup. Give me a chance to swap them out, clean them. But as you see, everything's running fine at this point. The filters have to be cleaned out today. This is my main issue. These 12-volt diesel heaters. Now, with these, this is my 3rd pair in less than 3 years. And when they run fine, they run good. But these things seem, especially the Vivor, seems to have a tendency of either the pumps going out or more than likely the heat sensor, and I get a bad heat sensor reading. And then you got to crack the whole thing open to get in there, and on one of them I replaced the heat sensor twice with parts that Vivor sent me, and it still, within a couple of weeks, popped again, even though I'm not running them at max. So that's one problem with these. The big major problem has been the batteries. You notice I've got a battery here. I've got 2 batteries over here. And the thing was, is I had a charger that was supposed to be a trickle charger, but the battery would go dead, even though I had the trickle charger. And I went through 2 different kinds of chargers, one from Obi, one from ATU, Automotive, and both of them just didn't do the job. The battery would still go dead. And I found out the problem is the trickle charge was not high enough for what was being used. Now this one over here, this is a C-Tech MXS10, 12 volt, 10 amp. 10 amp. This is one of the key things. It needs to trickle with at least 10 amps or more to feed these little puppies. This one has been running for 3 years, no problem, off this one battery for 3 winter seasons, no issues. My issue has been the heaters on this one. I swapped out and went and bought me another one and swapped it out this winter, and it's been running off the back battery now for 3 months with no problems. So if you're going to be running a setup similar to this, make sure that you're getting at least a 10 amp or more recharge trickle. Otherwise, these things will slowly, over a month or so, still drain your battery down dead. So be aware of that. Other than that, everything is still working fine. We got some big crayfish in there. This year's going to be a nice harvest. And we'll see what we're going to do. I'm thinking about putting some fishing minnows in here to help with the above water, because I notice I keep getting a film. I need something to help clean that off. And since I also do fishing, I can use those for my bait fish, and the smaller crayfish by German law, since they're not a vertebra, I can actually fish with them as live bait. So this is winding up not only being eating, but also fishing bait as well. Then lastly is the worm bed. If you look in the DIY section, the fishing section, I show how I did the worm bed. That's not a brick, that's a piece of moldy bread. I've been mixing in leftover stuff. Instead of putting it in the compost, it's been going in here. I've been mixing that in also with coffee grounds. It helps keep the moisture in it. I did have it covered, but I was building too much moisture, so I had to take the cover off. Since it's indoors and the moisture is maintaining better now, I don't have the problem with the worms trying to crawl out. So that's running good. Even through the winter, my pear melons are still producing. So overall, that's the current changes for this year. And we'll get more into it when I do the change around March time frame, when this whole thing will be drained down. We'll do a more heavy cleaning and harvesting of the crayfish. And that's that. Welcome to 2025.